Morning, evening, afternoon, whatever. Welcome to Elden Ring. This is my third character. Going for Strength Arcane build. Never done it, don't know if it's good. Might crap, haven't the slightest. Thought I'd give it a shot. And the reason I'm doing this video is I learned a new word today. It's a word I've heard before. Well, it's a name. But I've never heard it being used as a descriptor of it. Is that even a word? As a way to describe a whole like a subset or a cultural sort of segment of people, and that is the Kevin, which is a strange name, I guess. I don't know. I don't keep up on the latest usually. I'm too old for it. The reason I'm doing this video, and I was watching the videos by Only Waifu. I think she's like Argentinian or something. She does a lot of Elden Ring content. She's a pretty good PvPer. As far as I can tell, I'm not a PvPer by any stretch of the imagination, so we'll take her word for it. Point is, she was making a video about Kevins, and they were discussing, what is a Kevin? Are Kevins good? Kevins bad? Do they ruin the game? And where are they going? Kind of the way they defined a Kevin was as like L2 spammers, or people who may be kind of casual. Ow. Who might be like a lower skill level than other people. I mean, as you can see with that, I'm not an amazing player. I take damage, I take hits. Couldn't tell you if my build's good or not. This guy doesn't matter. He's a work in progress. I'm focusing on certain things, ignoring other things, and if I see a weapon or something that I like and want to play with, I'll boost the stat I need that I don't have to get it to work. If you want a better definition of Kevins, I guess, go watch the Only Waifu video about Kevins. So anyway, am I a Kevin? I don't know. Does it bother me if I'm a Kevin? No, I don't give a shit, really. I don't play this game to try and get other people's opinions about myself, right? Like, I've lived a life, I've touched plenty of grass, I've had dozens of different jobs doing different things, some of them dangerous and life-threatening, some of them boring and stupid. I've faced the actual real-life difficulties of real life as a fucking adult. So, whether or not I'm good at a video game does not affect my life in the least. Other than, for example, Silksong, I picked that up recently. It's great. It's a little too hard for me. I'm struggling at certain points, and I'm sure I'll get back to it at some point if I get bored enough. But in the meantime, I put it down. I was like, alright, I'll come back to that when I'm in the mood for trying. Because I'm not always. Right? So Kevin's, I guess the way they describe it is either a noob or someone who doesn't understand or give a shit enough about the deeper mechanics to, I don't know, engage fully with them, I guess. The kind of person who would maybe specifically go for the giant Kamehameha laser that people love in this for killing bosses, and spam all the bosses that way. And get accused of cheating because they found an easy way of killing bosses and stuff. But then they complain because maybe they get invaded and it's too difficult because they only have built their playstyle and their build around cheesing bosses and avoiding the difficulty. I get that. I completely get that. I've done it. I've done it both ways. Right? Beat Dark Souls 2 by myself, Dark Souls 3 by myself. I'm not trying to pat my own back. I'm just saying. I've done the thing where you do it by yourself. And I will agree that it is definitely more challenging than doing it with people. So, somebody asked me once, well, why do you always co-op? Can you not do it by yourself? Most of the time, 80% of the time, yeah, sure, I could do it by myself. Do I want to? No. Why? Because I have friends and I like hanging out with them. We could just stare at the PlayStation home screen and sit on a chat and talk about stuff all day if we wanted. or we could engage in something that's fun to do. We don't have to think too hard about it. Like, we've all played enough of the FromSoft games that I keep hearing twinkling, and I don't know if it's that guy or a different one. So we've done it the quote unquote the right way. And my buddy Savage, he likes the boss fights, right? He's cool with them. I think they're cool. I appreciate them. You know, listen, you little twit. I backed myself into a corner. And I feel good when I beat a boss by myself, and the ego gets a boost. Oh, that was bad. Yeah. So, that's what happens when you talk and play. And it's a good example of the fact that I can be good, like, if I'm careful. Enemies like that will tend to kill me more often than difficult enemies, because I am not in it when I'm fighting those guys. I'm not paying attention, I'm talking, I'm just whatever. I'm also used to playing my other two characters, which are considerably better equipped than this guy. I still haven't really... I have a bad habit of getting off topic. I don't do scripts, you know, because then I have to spend all the time writing the script and all that shit. But what am I trying to say? If you are a Kevin, whatever, don't feel bad about it, you know. But I think playing that way at the start of the game, you know, reading all the guides, finding something that lets you pew everything at a distance, and not concern yourself too much with actually learning how to dodge and block and learn enemy patterns will carry you quite a long way. You might even be able to cheese your way through the whole game if you have good co-opers. And I don't have a problem with that, right? A lot of people get really upset when you find a strategy that works for you that's not the same as theirs. You know, or they get really mad if you do it in a way that they think sucks and he's still successful, because they're like, how dare this person accomplish this thing that I thought I could only accomplish my way, which is a weird way of thinking. I don't really understand it. You know, anybody says to me, oh, I played Elden Ring, but I played it this way, is that the wrong way to play it? And I'm like, did you enjoy it? Yes. Then you played it the right way. Yeah, but somebody said that I cheesed L1 all the time. Okay. Do you? Yeah. Did it get you through the entire game? Yeah. Did you have fun playing it? Yeah. Then there's no problem. I think people miss the point of video games is to have fun. For some people, pushing themselves to a difficult challenge and overcoming it is the fun. Right? Like I said, I get that. I'm just not about that. Right? Does it feel good when I beat a hard boss? Yes. But mostly, it feels good because they're out of the way. Some people play these games because they love the boss fights. Understandable. They're cool boss fights. Epic cutscenes, flashy moves, cool arenas. It's a spectacle. And being very skillful in defeating a boss and looking like a badass doing it feels good. From my perspective, walking into a boss arena, unleashing some sort of overpowered something or other, and splatting the boss in one or two shots is equally satisfying. Right? It's kind of like the same sort of amusement I get out of that old Crocodile Dundee scene. Okay, that was a movie in the 80s about this Australian dude, Crocodile Dundee, who somehow or other he meets some American lady or something, goes to Australia and they have adventures, and he's like untouchable tough guy because he's Australian. And in one of the movies, I can't remember if it's the first one or the second one, he's in the subway in New York. And some guy comes after him with a tiny little pocket knife. He's like, give me all your money. And he looks at him, he's like, that's not a knife. He pulls out a giant 12-inch friggin' Bowie knife, and he's like, this is a knife. And then the guy runs away. And, you know, doing that to a boss is hilariously fun, and I love it. You know, for me, bosses are a pain in the ass because they get in the way of me seeing more of the world. And I want to beat them because I want to get past them and see more of the world. That's my motivation. I have a real bad habit of making it to the end of a game, banging my head against the final boss a couple times, and then just being like, screw it, I got close enough. I don't really care about seeing a 5-minute cutscene or a couple little screen splashes that say, congratulations, you beat the game. I don't give a shit. It really doesn't matter. I push through and beat the end bosses in most of these games if they have co-op, and if I need to do that to play with my friends somewhere, I will. But one of my favorite things to do in every FromSoft game is to beat it the first time, go through an NG Plus, and just unlock all the bonfires and graces so that I can go to any part of the game and co-op with my friends. That's my main driver. If I can find tools that make that easier, I will. If that makes me a Kevin, alright, cool. I'm okay with that. You know, back in the day when I used to be able to read comments in videos, I would have plenty of people commenting that, oh, you use co-ops and your friends are carrying you and you use your summons and blah blah blah. And my answer to that is, yep, sure do. Right? Like, oh, you didn't really beat it because you beat it at an easier level of difficulty than me. Okay, whatever. Again, I still don't care. Alright, listen, if it makes you feel important that you beat the game a certain way and I didn't, run with that. You tuck that under your hat and feel like $1 million over it. You know, eventually I do like getting to the point where I can combine cheesy L2 damage dealing cool stuff, and yeah, this is not the Executioner's Sword. However, the name of this sword is the same as the special ability on the Executioner's Sword, except it's a small one-handed sword. There's really no difference. It does less damage, obviously, because it's not a great sword, but that's beside the point. So, I don't know. On the one hand, do I use cheese strats if it makes something easier that I don't feel like dealing with? Absolutely. Do I feel bad about it? No. I'm playing a game, and I do so in a way that makes it fun to play the game. It also helps that I'm the middle-aged fucking man who's lived a real life, and I could give a shit what some 15-year-old online thinks about me. Right? Just does not matter to me. Do I think they should remove PvP for the game? Blah, blah, blah. It's toxic and all that. No. I understand the PvPers. It's a higher level of challenge. It's being able to encounter and fight things that don't have the same moveset all the time, that will do things unexpectedly, that will, actually challenge you. And I think the last FromSoft game where I actually felt that, not necessarily that the PvP is better or worse than any other ones. There's going to be plenty of people who have opinions about which PvP is the best, and I have nothing to say about that because I'm not a PvPer. Do I engage in it? Well, yeah. I'm a co-op player. I have to engage with it. Which kind of annoys me, right? I mean, I have a whole bunch of videos about invasions. And, occasionally somebody might get mad and call us a gank squad, and it's like, okay, technically you're right, yeah. Generally speaking, we usually do gank the invaders. Does that make them bad invaders? No, they're outnumbered, and we actually have some idea what we're doing and have a lot of good toys to play with. So, if someone beats us, like fair and square, in a PvP match, and there's 3 of us, and we've all got endgame toys to play with, then, hats off to that person. Nicely done. Does it annoy me? Of course. Maybe we were halfway to a boss in a tough area. Now we have to go all the fucking way back to the bonfire and start again. Collect our souls if we dropped them. It's a pain in the ass. Our motivation for playing the game is hanging out and going on an adventure. PvPing tends to just interrupt that for us. Now we have to stop and actually pay attention and actually play and blah, blah. And the invader's going to see 3 of us. Usually, if they're smart, they're going to try and run off and reposition themselves And if they're running back towards the part of the level that's empty that we've already been through, we're not going to chase you. All right? We've been there. We don't want to go back and have to walk all the fucking way back to where we came from because you can't use your horse in co-op. Because moving quickly with friends is apparently against the rules. Right? Like, so for us, it's just a pain in the butt. We don't care if we die. Like, you know, we're as far as we are in the game, and we've died 100 fucking times. Like, whatever. Dying's part of it. I would like it if, you know, as much as you can put a summon sign, or sorry, a password, play with your friends. It'd be nice if you could just click on, you know, like, no PvP. Just not interested. I don't think it should be removed from the game. Just not interested. You know? I'm glad that PvPers have a Coliseum and stuff that they can go to, but it'd be more fun, honestly, for them if they could, I don't know, flip a switch somewhere in a menu and say, I want to invade people who like PvP. And there is, I guess, a tongue thing, some kind of tongue item. Do I have it? I might not even have it. Oh yeah, there's this thing. So if you're playing by yourself and you want to get invaded, you can put this Taunter's Tongue thing on. So that does exist. But as a person who is invading, you have no way of knowing when you're getting pulled into, when you're going into somebody's world, what you're going to face. And that's exciting. Which I guess is probably something that a PvPer would appreciate. Like, oh, sweet, I get to test myself against 3 good players. Makes it hard to find a duel. A proper duel, right? Other than going to the Coliseum and getting stuck fighting in the same arena over and over, which gets old fast. That's why I don't like fighting games. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's not for me. That's why I don't like sports. It's just running around in a circle. You know, I don't think less of people who like sports. I understand, you know, that there are nuances and whatnot. But so I don't know. I guess I didn't have a point. It's just like me and my friends play the game to have fun. We don't worry about trying to fit some kind of a meta or limiting ourselves because somebody else plays a different way and thinks we're dumb because well you always use that stupid lightning spear thing. What is it? The Grand Sax of something or other. Yeah, I use it all the time. It's very useful. You know, if we're trying to make our way through an area, I can pew a lot of the tough enemies from a distance, and then I've got a lot of resources left when I get to the boss fight, or I can use it to piss off the boss. So, yeah, I guess if using things that make the game easier makes you a Kevin, then I am a Kevin, and I'm happy about that. Because playing as a Kevin has been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it. You know, and so have my friends. You know, now my buddy Schultz, he's beaten the game multiple times on his own. He's honestly much better at this game than I am. Savage is same thing, you know. Back before I had people to play online with, you know, I had Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and 3/4 of Bloodborne by myself, just because I had nobody to play with, other than the AI summons, and everybody knows that they're never the greatest. They might take you through the first half of a boss fight, but there's very few summons in the game that will take you the whole way through a boss fight. Now, somebody might kick up a scream and be like, well, it's a mimic tier. Yeah, you're right. I really thought I'd take damage there, because the mimic tier is your character. So if you have a good character and you bring the mimic tier in, then yeah, it's going to absolutely kick ass. But I think what most people leave out of the conversation with the mimic tier is that getting the mimic tier is quite challenging. As far as I know, I forgot those guys weren't dead. You have to beat Radahn to get the mimic tier, to open up that part of the map. You know, and that's no easy feat, even with friends. And I see the mimic tier as a reward for getting to that part in the game, and for fighting yourself and winning. You know, like everybody knows who's got the mimic tier, they had to fight themselves. Now, if you know the strategies, you go in naked with nothing equipped. When your mimic tier spawns naked with nothing equipped, you quickly equip some, doesn't really matter what, quickly equip some equipment, then beat them down. Me and my buddy decided to see what it'd be like to fight ourselves with our equipment. And man, let me tell you, that mimic tier was whipping out shit I didn't know how to do. on my own freaking character. I was like, wait, I can do that? Right? So it was cool. On my other characters, my Mimic Tier is the only summons I use. You know, because I like my characters usually. And, there's a respec option. But anyway, so I guess I didn't really have a point. I wasn't trying to prove or disprove the Kevin thing. And neither was only waifu, really. They were just trying to define it. Because some people see Kevins as cheesers with no skills. Some people see them as people who just don't understand the game and just pick stuff that looks neat with no idea and take pity on them. And some people are really annoyed by them for some reason. Like the fact that somebody else is not as good at a game makes them mad. And then also those same people get mad when someone's better at the game than they are. It's a really weird psychology that I don't particularly understand. And it always seems to center around games like this, like the Silksong. Look at the drama around Silksong because people are like, it's too hard, I can't play it. Granted, I'm one of those people. I enjoyed about 6 hours of it, and then got to, I don't know, it was a certain boss fight that's probably not that hard, right? I'm not that familiar with the controls in Silksong. So I'm definitely not good. And I got to a certain bit where I'm fighting a boss, and I'm like, okay, I can see this boss's patterns, and I could see with maybe 10 tries, I'd probably get it and be okay. But then I have to walk 10 miles to get to that thing through difficult levels, And it's just like, I don't mind the challenge. I get bored by the repetition. So in games like this, if I can go around a boss, if I can cheese a boss and not have to do the same thing over and over and over again until I win. And I don't mean using exactly the same strategies. I don't mean going in and trying L2 and it doesn't work, so I go in and try it again, it doesn't work, no, that's the definition of insanity. I do adapt. That is one trait I do not share with Kevin's, is I'm not shy about adapting my character to suit the situation, or adapting my play style. My first character in Elden Ring was pure sword and board, no magic, for a little while. And then I got to the point where my skill was having issues beating the bosses at my character's current level, and I was like, well, I could spend a whole bunch of time grinding and leveling up my vigor so that I can play sloppy and still win. That's a viable option. And I was like, or I could go somewhere else until I find something that gives me the tools to apply a different strategy to what I'm doing. That also works. I've already lost my point because I fought these guys. You would do. Oh, it's just an item. So I'm semi-Kevin. There's a lot of this game I don't understand. Every couple of months or so, I'll think, maybe I should do a beginner's guide for this game. And then I'll do it, and then I'll watch it, and then I'll catch myself making 3 or 4 mistakes that, oh, actually, that's not true. Or, oh, no, actually, that stat does not govern this. So, I'm not the person to be coming to for advice about things. People always ask me, why do you use that weapon? I thought that weapon sucked. It's like, man, I don't know. I picked it up. I like the moveset. It does enough damage that I don't hate using it. And it's fun. They're like, oh, well, this weapon does, like, this much more damage against this boss, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care. I tried that weapon fighting the boss, and you're right, it does more damage. But it required more skill than I possessed. So I switched to a different weapon. It maybe did a little bit less damage, like your Grand Sack's red lightning spear thing. It doesn't require a whole lot of skill to use against a boss. And if your stats are high enough and you've got enough FP, you can finish bosses with it quite easily. Some of them. And I will. If you've got co-op buddies, 2 or 3, like if you've got 1 or 2 co-op buddies with you that both have that in the Michaela, the swooshy rotten flower lady that everybody has a hard time beating. Rightly so, she's tough. I did a video where me and my buddy beat her without any great difficulty on our 10th try. to be for clarity, on our 10th try we tried her, and she wasn't that difficult. We just kept sitting her on her ass with our lightning spear things. Did we want to fight her the old way? No. Why? Because after fighting the same chick 10 times, we were all bored of fighting her. We're just like, well, we're kind of here now. We might as well do it. Let's just finish it. And we persevered and did it. You know. What do you get for beating her? I can't remember. Honestly, it was nothing I used. I didn't wear her armor. I didn't use her weapon. I didn't get anything out of it other than, all right, I'll put that Boy Scout badge on my sash and call it a day. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's just a bit of a ramble about it. I thought it was an amusing term for people who play a certain way, and I always get a chuckle out of the drama around people's play styles and shit when they play games like this. You know, the Gatekeepers make me laugh. You know, I don't understand it. So anyway, back to the PvP thing. This is supposed to be about Kevin's, but you know, like Dark Souls 2, I really didn't mind the PvP in that. A, I was playing by myself, so it always felt like a duel. And B, the lock-on and the weapon tracking in that game is different. You can be locked on with a weapon and consistently miss your target if they're on the move. Dark Souls 2 is the game that taught me how to play unlocked. I don't do it a lot, but it did teach me that. And the duels in that felt more like a sword on sword or sword on spear. It felt more like a mano-a-mano duel. It can a little bit in this game, but this game gives you so many toys to absolutely blast and one-shot people that really the only thing you need to be good at is positioning and surprising people. Right? I've seen people run up behind me because I didn't notice that we've been invaded, and they do some sort of and they explode dead. Those kinds of PvP invasions annoy the shit out of me. I mean, yeah, it's all using in-game stuff. And it's a valid technique, I suppose, if you want to win. And I see a lot of people using that argument against PvP. And in some instances, I get it. Yeah, that sucks. It's annoying when somebody does that to you. On the other hand, it's like, okay, well, I mean, have you done that to bosses or difficult enemies that you didn't feel like fighting the old-fashioned, quote-unquote, skillful way? Probably. I would. Just like I use things that make PvP a lot easier, like friends. And high damage spells that are hard to avoid when 3 people are doing it at you at once. Like, a good portion of our builds and the tools we use, like I pretty much never use magic on my guys, mostly, other than my magic character, obviously. Because doing the old sword and board with friends to take enemy aggro off you once in a while and give you an opening is fun for me. Doing it by myself, I mean, I've just been attacking these guys. I don't have a lot of options for this guy. This is my only Ash of War. I run out of arrows for my unupgraded bolt or crossbow. Lost my train of thought again. Hi, buddy. Sorry. But you were about to get up and do something silly, which meant you would have... Hey. Really? Alright, well fuck it, I guess I didn't want that. So, I don't know. Anyway, enough of a ramble. Like Kevin? Yeah, half the time, yeah. Is that a problem? No. Right? It annoys the PvPers because it's too easy of a fight. All they do is spam L2, it's dumb. Yeah, alright, yeah. It's because you're fighting people who don't want to do PvP. I think maybe that's the thing about PvP that I understand why people find it toxic. It's because if somebody's coming into your world and trying to kill you for no particular reason other than their own personal gain. I mean, granted, that's realistic to life in general. There's all kinds of people like that in the world, right? I've had people try to mug me before and take shit that didn't belong to them. Thankfully, they changed their mind because I'm not the kind of person that's intimidated easily, right? And they realized that the $3 in my pocket wasn't worth whatever trouble they might go through trying to get it out of me. Fuck, I lost my train of thought with the muggers. I don't know. Play the game the way you want, right? And if you're a PvPer and you come in and you use some sort of special strat and absolutely blow somebody away and they're mad about it, maybe try to understand why they're mad about it, right? It's an entirely different thing if somebody engages in the Coliseum and in PvP and gets mad because they lost. Well, they're just a sore loser, right? If somebody's just minding their own business, playing through the game, hanging out with their friends, and you jump off a rooftop and do some sort of giant explosion, kill everybody in one hit, they lose the level up they almost had, they have to resummon their friends, go back to the start of the thing. They only had an hour to play, now they've lost a half an hour completely pointlessly, because I wonder why they might be mad. Right? I'm not hating on PvPers, I get it. Like I said, a buddy of mine's PvPer. I've done it exactly once to a real person, and it was a fun fight. I didn't mind. I didn't win, but it was a fun fight. It just randomly happened to be a fair fight, and that was kind of cool. But I can't remember what I did. I had to do it for some sort of quest line in Dark Souls 3, I think. And it was exciting. It was thrilling. The adrenaline was pumping. I was like, all right, that's cool. But anyway, it's just not for me. Right? Makes for good videos when somebody invades us and we succeed in defeating them. The reason you never see single-player PvP videos for me is because I don't play the game for PvP. If it happens and it makes for a good video, well, alright, great. I'll put it up on the channel, get a couple views out of it. Yeah, so from one maybe Kevin to all the other Kevins out there, you just keep doing you. If you're having fun being a Kevin and play the game, be a Kevin and play the game. If you're having fun being a PvP and being a dickhead and killing people without giving them a chance to fight, alright, have fun with that. Be a PvPer that kills people without giving them a chance to fight. Because I know if you invade my world, I'm going to kill you without giving you a chance to fight if I can. Why? Because I hate you? No. Because I want to get rid of you and go back to playing the game the way I want to play it. It's nothing personal. You know, and then here's something that's going to piss a lot of people off. Sometimes, if I'm playing by myself and I get invaded, I'm not in the mood, I'll just turn the game off and come back. Right? People are like, how dare you? You can't do that. That's dishonorable, blah, blah, blah. Yep, don't care. I'm not here for the PvP. Somebody comes into my house uninvited and wants to have a sparring match for boxing or something. It's like, no, man, get the fuck out of my house. I didn't invite you. If I go to a boxing arena and somebody says, hey, would you like to spar? I don't box. I'm just using this as an example. Says, hey, would you like to spar? The answer would be like, yeah, sure. Right? Different context. So, if you're a non-PvPer getting pissed off about the PvPers, try and understand it's not personal. If you see the same guy 3 times and he's griefing you every single time, just block him. They'll find somebody else to piss off. They saw an easy target, like, oh, I'm just going to keep coming back to this area and fighting the same person. People do that. Right? Just block them. They can't send you messages. They can't send you fucking game advice. They can't, just block them. They can go grief other people. There's no need for the drama. You have tools to avoid it. Right? And if you're playing with 3 people and you don't panic, most of the time, the PvPer is at a serious advantage. Don't get cocky. There are PvPers out there. Plenty good enough to defeat 3 people at a time. I don't know. Like I said, didn't have a point, so I'm going to stop talking and go around and box more stuff. I need to level up a bit more. Have a good one. Do you. Right? Don't be a dick. Don't worry about other people being dicks. Play it the way it's fun for you. Whether you're successful or not, if you're having fun, that's the important thing. It's the entire point of video games, is to have fun.